all started like any other talk show appearance. Lights, applause, the host's charming grin, and the superstar guest walking in to cheers. Jennifer Lawrence, widely known for her unfiltered charm and bold sense of humor, entered the stage of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, wearing a dazzling outfit and her signature confident smile. The audience roared with excitement as Stephen greeted her with a hug and a quick compliment, setting the tone for what was expected to be another entertaining segment. But what followed was far from typical late-night banter. The energy quickly shifted when the conversation took an unexpected turn, revealing tensions no one had anticipated. For years, Jennifer has been open about her views on politics, Hollywood dynamics, and the media, and she's never been one to hold back. Colbert, equally known for his wit and sharp tongue, probed into one of her recent comments that had stirred some controversy online. At first, Jennifer brushed it off with laughter, but as Stephen kept pressing with more direct questions, her tone shifted. The audience, still unsure if it was all part of the act, laughed nervously. But the smiles on stage began to fade. Stephen Colbert is a master of satirical humor and loves to dig beneath the surface with his guests, often pushing the envelope in his interviews. So when he brought up Jennifer's recent criticism of a major Hollywood producer, it didn't seem unusual at first. He quoted her directly, asking if she stood by her words, and Jennifer, with a calm yet firm expression, said, "Absolutely." Stephen then followed with a comment that seemed to question her credibility, pointing out her past collaborations with big industry names. "Isn't that a little contradictory?" he asked. The audience murmured. Jennifer leaned forward, her voice slightly raised. "I don't think it's contradictory to speak up about something that's wrong, no matter who's involved." That was the spark. Colbert, likely expecting a more diplomatic response, added with a smirk, "But don't you think biting the hand that feeds you makes you look disingenuous?" That was it. Jennifer paused, looked him dead in the eye, and said, "I don't need to be fed by anyone who abuses power." The crowd went silent. It was no longer banter. It was personal. Jennifer's posture changed, and you could see the tension in her shoulders. She was no longer laughing or even smiling politely. She looked deeply uncomfortable but determined not to back down. Stephen, sensing the shift, tried to lighten the mood with a quick joke about actors always playing the hero, but Jennifer didn't bite. "This isn't about playing a hero," she replied. "This is about calling out systemic problems." At that moment, it was clear that Jennifer felt cornered. While Colbert may have thought he was playing devil's advocate, Jennifer saw it as a challenge to her integrity. The actress, known for being authentic, seemed visibly irritated by what she felt was a condescending tone. She said, "I didn't come here to be mansplained on national television." Gasps from the audience followed. Stephen raised his eyebrows, trying to regain control, but Jennifer leaned back in her chair, arms crossed. The atmosphere was now icy. What was supposed to be lighthearted late-night entertainment had turned into a heated exchange on live TV, and neither party seemed willing to retreat. Trying to steer the conversation back to safer ground, Stephen brought up Jennifer's latest film, praising her performance and asking about her preparation. But the damage was done. Jennifer responded briefly, giving textbook answers, her previous warmth gone. You could tell she was doing her best to remain professional, but her body language screamed discomfort. Colbert kept smiling, but there was a visible awkwardness now hanging between them. "You know, I admire your outspokenness," he said, attempting to soften the situation. "But do you ever worry it'll overshadow your work?" That did it. Jennifer leaned forward again, her voice more cutting than before. "Why is it always a worry when a woman speaks her mind? No one ever asks male actors if being vocal will overshadow their craft." There was a brief pause, then strong applause from parts of the audience. Jennifer's supporters were clearly present, but the divide was now very real. Stephen looked momentarily stunned, unsure of how to respond. He glanced at his cue cards, searching for a way to transition, but Jennifer wasn't done. The next few moments felt like slow motion. Stephen tried to redirect once again, bringing up a recent charity event Jennifer participated in. She gave a curt response and then said, "Honestly, I'm not really in the mood to be here anymore." The audience chuckled nervously, still, not sure whether this was a scripted moment or something very real. Stephen tried to laugh it off, saying, "Come on, we're just having a conversation." But Jennifer didn't smile. She removed her microphone earpiece and stood up. "I came here to talk about my movie, not defend my right to have an opinion," she said flatly. The crew looked around, unsure whether to cut to commercial or keep rolling. Jennifer looked at the audience, gave a quick nod, and turned to walk off stage. Stephen stood up as well, saying her name as if to stop her, but she didn't pause. The crowd was silent now, watching in disbelief. No one clapped, no one laughed. It was a moment of raw tension captured live. Backstage, reports say Jennifer was visibly shaken but composed. She spoke briefly to her publicist before leaving the studio. Within minutes, clips of the incident started circulating on social media. Jennifer Lawrence trended on Twitter within the hour, with fans and critics alike weighing in. Some praised her for standing her ground, applauding her courage to walk away from what they saw as a disrespectful exchange. Others accused her of overreacting, suggesting that Colbert was merely doing his job as a talk show host. The media frenzy had begun. News outlets picked up the story, dissecting every line, every glance, every raised eyebrow. The narrative split instantly. Some headlines called it an empowering moment. Others called it a PR disaster. And while Jennifer made no immediate comment, her representatives confirmed she would not be returning to the show anytime soon. Stephen Colbert addressed the incident the following night during his monologue. With a more serious tone than usual, he said, "Last night things didn't go as planned. Sometimes conversations take turns you don't expect, and for that, I take responsibility." He didn't directly apologize, but acknowledged that the discussion became more heated than intended. The audience gave him polite applause and the show moved on. But the internet wasn't so quick to forget. Clips of the confrontation had already racked up millions of views. Commentary channels analyzed every second. Experts in media and gender studies began using the moment as an example in ongoing discussions about how women in Hollywood are treated during interviews. Jennifer, still quiet in the public eye, allowed the footage to speak for itself. And speak it did. While Jennifer Lawrence has always had a love-hate relationship with fame, moments like this remind people why she's both adored and controversial. She's not afraid to call things out as she sees them, even when it's uncomfortable. This wasn't the first time she'd walked out of an interview, though never before had it happened on such a massive platform. Her fans rallied around her, creating hashtags in support and sharing their own experiences of feeling silenced or mocked. Memes, GIFs, and reaction videos flooded platforms like TikTok and Instagram. It was as if a pop culture earthquake had hit, and everyone wanted to weigh in. But while the spectacle played out online, insiders close to Jennifer claimed she was simply tired. Tired of being told to smile. Tired of being interrupted. Tired of being treated differently than her male peers. The moment sparked a broader conversation across Hollywood. Female celebrities from other industries chimed in, some even sharing their own awkward interview experiences. The clip became symbolic, not just of Jennifer's stance, but of a larger frustration brewing beneath the surface for years. Late-night shows, while usually lighthearted, have often been criticized for masking subtle biases under the guise of comedy. What was different this time was how quickly the mask slipped, and how clearly the line was drawn. Stephen Colbert, to his credit, didn't try to erase the footage or deny the incident. But for many viewers, the damage to his image had already been done. Meanwhile, Jennifer's upcoming movie saw an unexpected spike in pre-release buzz. The controversy had inadvertently fueled interest in her latest role, with ticket pre-sales reportedly increasing by 20%. Some accused her of orchestrating the moment for publicity, though those close to her dismissed the idea as absurd. "Jennifer doesn't need to fake drama," one producer commented. "She's always been real, and sometimes that's messy." For better or worse, Jennifer Lawrence had once again proven that she doesn't fit the mold of a traditional Hollywood starlet. And perhaps that's exactly why people can't stop watching. Public reaction continued to evolve over the following days. Media analysts debated the ethics of confrontational interviewing. Psychology experts were invited onto morning shows to explain the dynamics of power, communication, and gender in public settings. Talk shows from other networks subtly referenced the event, making jokes or drawing comparisons. Even celebrities like Reese Witherspoon and Viola Davis tweeted cryptic messages about standing up for yourself that fans believed were directed in support of Jennifer. The ripple effect was undeniable.